Diving headfirst into Monterey athletics. You're listening to the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Monday night. We just wrapped up with Estacado talking a little baseball. Big week for the Matadors. Big week for all three teams in District 5 or 4A in this neck of the woods, with Estacado playing both Memorial and Liberty. And I'll have to check to see. I've got who Liberty plays after that, but it's this is not do or die week, but it's big for Estacado. They got some hay to put in the barn. Monterey softball's put a lot of hay in the barn. They are Brian Cronk just sat down. I'm trying to butter him up a little bit. I always tell people when I tell my guys that are going out to cover, yes, Brian Cronk's you're gonna look at him and think he's gonna bite your head off, but he's a teddy bear. And you know who told me that? Was your daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Carly Cronk.
Yeah.
She was the one who spilled the beans on you. So I imagine my daughters have done the same. So how are you, my man?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Haven't had the chance to come out and watch the Lady Plainsmen play, but they are playing very good softball right now. This is going to sound weird. Your game against Caprock the other day I thought was really cool, because that sounded like it was just a regular softball game. And, wasn't a run rule, just both teams played, and you guys took care of business, and that gets you ready for down the road a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jade threw well, and she threw a one-hitter, and that one hit hit off the fielder's glove. She's dead sprint. Could have been a better read, but, it was one of those that we should have been at that point where we made the play even. So I do have two kids coming, but I don't know. We ran a little long, so I'm not sure how quick. And I want to say that Marcia Sharp is off the 27. I think it's closed, yes. So I'm sure that they're going to be.
I think I snuck in right before that happened. There was an accident right here at the. I think I had to cheat and probably broke a. If there's any police listening, I didn't break any laws, but. I meant to tell coaches that before we got here. Well, if they get here, fine. If not, you're not going to.
Well, I hate like each other. If they don't make it, but it'll be Jaden and Allie. So, are we on TV today?
Yes, we are. We're right up there. So, you've got a full head of hair, which is still odd to me. For how many years did I know you while you shaved it?
How long you been in town?
Probably the first 5. I think you, and then all of a sudden you pulled a shock of smart on me and.
Yeah, we grew some, and it. I don't know. I just skipped a couple haircuts and let it go. And
there you go.
I cut off 4 or 5 inches after our first loss back in February. And
all right.
So that's where we're at now.
There you go. Well, you haven't lost a whole lot of games. You guys are 22-5-1.
Yes, sir. More
importantly, as I said when we were talking to Mark Giannis, the more important numbers, that one on the left in the standings. You're 9-2 in District 3 5A. Looking up at Amarillo High, but you guys have them next week.
Yes, sir.
And they've still got to play Lubbock Cooper once. They've still got to play. I believe they play Lubbock High this week.
Maybe Lubbock High Friday, and then they'll play us, and then they'll play Lubbock Cooper. But they handled Lubbock High the first time around.
Right. So. And you, not to rub this in, but as you can attest to, Lubbock High is really good. They're a team that's not this. Let's put it this way: it's not the same with Lubbock High. You don't just roll up and take. They're going to play. They're going to play hard.
Yes,
she has made an impact there the last few years. What's made, and now I jokingly asked him if his freshman was ready for the bright lights to come in and talk on radio. She's made a difference. You kind of told me about her last year. You told me we've got one on the way that's pretty good. I think were the exact words you told me, and she has been.
She has been.
Say her name so I'll make sure I hear it.
Jade
right.
Calantis.
Calantis, okay.
Yeah, she has done well. Spun the ball really well, and kept us in a bunch of games, and we've been very thankful for it. So
this is high praise. Lainey Gibson was on last week with Brennan Rhodes, and they talked about when they played you, and she said, we didn't know who that girl was. We went out there, and I was like, I'm gonna get a pitch, and I'm gonna hit it. And she said, and then she spun a couple up there, and I realized this isn't gonna be easy. And that's, from that kid, that's saying something, because that's one of the better players in Lubbock, Texas right now.
Yeah.
Lady Plainsmen are in second place. Lubbock Cooper's half a game behind them. But right now, this team is playing very similar to Brian's team, like when he didn't have the hair. Those 5 years when they were just dominating Lubbock. So, coming up on a break, we'll talk more Monterey softball after this on the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Monterey sports. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Ask you a question.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Monday night. We're talking Monterey Lady Plainsman softball. If you're watching on TV, you can see that two people much younger than Brian and I have joined the conversation. Introduce them real quick, Brian. So
this is Aliana Vaquera. She's a third baseman, and this is Jaden Smith, and she is a shortstop catcher.
Yeah, she does a little bit of everything.
She has played some third, maybe some second. So done a few things.
Swiss Army knife.
But third this year, maybe second one time. So
both of you guys have played since you were freshmen, correct?
Yes, sir.
I know Jaden has because I'm a catcher, and we pay attention to catchers a little bit more. And I remember talking to Allie after a playoff game in Plainview, I believe. Something happened at the end of a game. It didn't have the best outcome, and then for a freshman, she came back and made big things happen in the second game. So your name stuck out in my head too. You guys have a really good team this year, Coach, and I've already talked about it. Jaden, you've been around 3 different teams now, 3 or 4.
4.
You're a senior?
Yes, sir.
Oh man. What about this team is clicking right now? Why are you guys? And last year's team was good too, but this one seems to have elevated a little bit.
This team, we're just a lot closer this year, I think, than last year. And we have a lot more talent on this team, in my opinion. We have like a whole dugout of people that can go in the lineup at any point. It's not like we just have a starting 9 and that's all we have. Our whole team can go up and hit. Our whole team can field really well. So.
And you guys, like I said, you both played since you were freshmen. You got a freshman pitcher on the mound. I was going to ask, you're used to that.
We've been there.
Yeah. So go back to Ani. She was a freshman way back when. So you've kind of navigated that before. You guys, this is a little bit different for you, especially somebody who catches her all the time. What kind of impact has she made?
She's just, I don't know, she's doing great out there. She's hitting her spots well. She's spinning it well. She's keeping teams from hitting in a lot of games too, which helps out us whenever we're having a rough time hitting. She's always in the field, making sure they're not hitting either. So she's doing great.
Allie's a freshman. When you were a freshman, is it hard not to feel the jitters, the butterflies every time you step on there? Or do you get used to it at some point?
It was really hard. It was really, really hard. Definitely my freshman year, it was very, very hard to be on the field because there was a lot of competition on the field, going at it with everybody, fighting for spots. But honestly, that made me a better player. So I've gotten used to it. Yeah.
I've already gotten in trouble a couple of times this season for saying this. You guys were the standard for 4 or 5 years. Slight step back last year. Still got to the playoffs. What in the off season got these girls going again, Brian? Was it anything dramatic or just pride, motivation? What was it?
A constant reminder. And they remind themselves, though, that I don't have to do it, but they have nothing to show for last year. And so we have our gloves on top of our lockers from the playoffs and district championships or sit in the window in my office.
The gold balls.
The gold gloves, yeah. Yes, sir. And so, we're putting them out, getting them, putting them in sight. And somebody said, well, where's last year's? Not even thinking about it. And I think Jaden was standing there and goes, that's not nice. But it was a constant reminder. But we returned 9-10 starters, and we've been fortunate enough to have a solid freshman class, and 3 of them are contributing very well. We talked about Jade. We have a shortstop, Amelia Oliveras, that's doing good things, and she's going to be one of the reasons why Jaden's been forced back behind the plate is because she can go. And then we have a first baseman, Sabrina Macbeth, that, she's hitting in our 4-hole. So, when you add those pieces to it, but, But Serenity's got another year under her belt. Riley Misen, Michaela, and even Allie and Jaden have grown up. Selena, Kylie Newman has, and then we have kids that are ready to go with, Nat Hernandez. We have Molly Begay. We have another freshman, Ariana Prieto, that we just can't find a place for. But, I mean, we, like Jaden said, we just have an abundance. It's a good problem to have. And so, I mean, just hey, you don't do your job, you're probably going to lose it because there's someone else standing right there ready to go. And, but we've been very fortunate. So,
and part of girls wanting to come and play is because of that success. Coach talked about it for both of you, the fact that there's not any hardware from last year. How motivating is that? How has that been for you?
It's been very, very motivating. I think with the freshmen, they're very talented, very, very talented. And a lot of people are really fighting for their spots. So I think it's just, sorry. It's just having everybody push. So I think that's what's keeping us going. It's very competitive out there. And, yeah.
All right, so Jaden, I'm saying this in a good way, not in a mean way. You got kind of spoiled those first couple of years because you had great players around you. You knew what the standard was, and you guys met that standard.
Yes, sir.
Not getting there last year it's humbling, I would imagine.
Yes.
How have you used it?
I'm super competitive, and so not having that good of a season last year definitely just made me want to push myself and my teammates to just do better and use it as an example of what we kind of don't want to do. I know that sounds kind of bad, but we're just used to being so good that last year's just something we want to forget about, but we want to use it to motivate us still for this year and just continue being better than that.
Now I'm going to put a positive spin on that because you didn't win in the playoffs, but you had to go to that weird tournament thing in Plainview. And if nothing else, Brian, that gave your girls a little bit of feel of, hey, win or go home. And you guys took care of business. Even though you didn't do anything after that, has that helped your girls?
I think being in that experience has definitely helped. At the end of the day, you try and take the negatives and make them positive, but any chance you get to be on the field and compete for a spot, I mean, that's what it was. Our back was against the wall last year, and so we played several games having to win to get in, and they did a good job with it. But, our motto this year is earn it. And, whether it's being on the field or getting a glove, I mean, you got to go earn everything you do.
An important game coming up for the Lady Plainsmen Tuesday. You play Lubbock High. Played them once before, and they beat you.
Yep.
And we were talking about that before. They're a feisty group, and they're a team that's battling for the playoffs again. They were at the weird tournament and had to sit there and didn't get to go on. So that is 7 p.m. tomorrow, 6:30 at your place. There won't be any track meets going on, so traffic won't be quite as bad.
Correct.
And then you go up to Amarillo on Thursday to play Tascosa. So busy week for the Lady Plainsmen. I'm going to try to see them next week when Amarillo comes to town, or are you going up there?
They're coming to us.
All right, that's the one I want to go and see. So come back after the break. We'll talk Memorial Baseball on the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.